Welcome back, everybody, to the FOF Guide, starring you-know-who, the FOF. This episode, the FOF chats with Kennedy, who is a Canadian senior in high school, and she's ready to set herself up for success. The FOF will be doing one episode with Kennedy after each semester until her education is completely done. So for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Okay, Kennedy, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right. So what grade are you in right now? You just started, right?
Just started grade 12, 3 days in.
So how do you like school?
I like it because it gives me something to do. Without school, I would just be sitting in my room. So
Kind of causing trouble, right? That's good.
yeah.
So how did you do in the 11th grade? Like last semester, I know what I'm going to do in the future is I'm going to probably talk to you about your last semester, but how about last year? How was it in grade 11? How was it? How do you think it helped you with your getting out of high school?
So in grade 11, probably like 50% of my courses were actually grade 12 courses. So I had to I was on my best behavior. I was trying really hard and I managed to get A's and B's in all my classes except French. I got a C plus, but I've always struggled with French.
And I tell you what, I got a C plus in the French 12 as well.
Yeah, I'm in French 12 right now.
You know, it's good to get a language, and you can actually speak it sometimes with people. And sometimes when customers come into my work, not that I'm saying where I work or anything, but or where you work, definitely not. But sometimes they speak French, and I can tell their accent, and I start speaking French to them a little bit.
Yeah, I can understand French, but I can't.
You're not French immersion, you're just French class.
Yeah, my French teacher speaks fluent French to us, which I understand, but the grammar and putting together sentences is hard because that takes a lot more work than just.
Yeah, I'm bad at grammar. I tried speaking French to some girl some woman who was there, and she told somebody who works there that had bad grammar. Like,
yeah, the grammar is hard. Yeah.
But you're sure your grades are pretty good. You did a bunch of grade 12 courses.
Yeah, and I got
how's that work exactly? Is it the semester system or what? Where you have to tell where the school you went to, but was it on the semester system or?
Yeah, last year we had 2 semesters, and basically when you're in grade 11, you can take grade 12 courses, which it doesn't necessarily mean they're harder. They're more like advanced in like the work style. So papers, projects, instead of getting a worksheet, you're kind of more independent.
So a lot of independent studying too as well. Like,
yeah,
so like here you have a test. We're not going to give you any quizzes or anything. We're just going to get to do a test, right? Okay.
They want you to if they give you a project, it's not like, okay, write a paper on this. It's find a subject related to what we're learning about, and you can show your learning in any way, like art, video, presentation, as long as you're meeting these expectations.
Oh, wow, that's different from when I was in school.
Yeah,
we barely made videos, and you used to have to use like Adobe Premiere to edit them. But honestly, we didn't really dive into videos very often. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're definitely now encouraging like personal strengths when it comes to schoolwork. Like me, I really enjoy any kind of art, so I would incorporate that into my projects. So in my social justice class, one of our finals was to pick a social justice issue, create an artifact, and then write about it. So I chose to do a painting on women's reproductive rights, and then a paragraph about it. And other kids were doing like models, posters, but that's what I felt that I would do best at. Since
you see, we were told, like when I went to school, sorry to interrupt, but when I went to school, we just said, okay, you're going to make a package and you're going to put a bunch of questions and answers and write a bunch of shit. And then, excuse my language, but they're going to do that, right? I'm like, okay, so that's not really. I mean, I had a teacher in social studies who literally let us, I make a video. Yeah, we did one video, and ours kind of sucked because we did editing, like pausing and her whining and stuff on VHS, which kind of sucks. But and another buddy of mine, they did a video. They edited it in Adobe Premiere and killed us. I'm like, I'm so ticked off. But your grades are good. You've got grade 12 stuff. What do you want to do after high school? Aside from working, obviously.
Yeah, so after high school, depending on where I get accepted, but I think I want to get into either criminology or political science, and then the hope after that, depending how that goes, is to get into law school and then eventually become maybe a prosecutor or a corporate lawyer, possibly.
Okay.
And then depending on how that goes, the final level would maybe be a judge. If I wanted to go further. If I was
happy, that's good, I mean, when I first went to school, I wanted, like, got out of school, I want to be a computer animator. I'm not a computer animator, I'm a salesperson, but I got into that and I really liked it. But it just wasn't for me. Right. And I need to put money in my pocket. So I just worked a warehouse job for like 16 years in sales. But sometimes you gotta go for the gold, right? I mean, and like you're gonna change a lot. You might end up becoming a manager of a distribution center or something like that, or you might end up being an arbitrator or something like that, or somebody who works with handicapped kids or something. I don't know, right? I mean, you're gonna change, and that's what I'm glad you're here, because we're going to watch you change every semester and see how you feel about things. You're going to do some failures. You're going to do some early excellent, some of that. So it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be little changes in your life that become big ones later on. And it's just, when I was out of school, I thought, oh, computer animator, I'm a big computer animator. And then I decided, you know what? I don't really want to be a computer animator anymore. It's a tough job. It's a long haul. And I was into law too, but I didn't really want to become a lawyer or anything like that. But I decided just to get a psych degree. But my question is, how do you think your grade 11 and 12 courses will help you prepare for post-secondary? Like, because obviously it's a difficult thing to do. It's not easy, and it's not gonna be fun sometimes.
Right? Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? How do you feel it prepares you? Is it preparing you or what?
I say definitely at my school we have a lot of variety in our course options. Like right now I'm taking astronomy for my science. And so last year I took Law 12 and Social Justice 12. Those were my two main ones that I wanted to use. Oh, and Psychology 12 towards.
I like psychology. I didn't take it in high school, actually. I didn't take it. But really? How is that preparing you for
it's kind of like a preview of what I was getting into, of course, with law, because I wanted to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
I got to learn about it more. It was my first chance to actually like see it and learn some legal terms, see how it works.
Yeah.
And that would be kind of the first make or break. Like if I went into it and I hated it, I would probably have changed my mind about post-secondary. But when I did go into it, I loved it and I was excited to go to class every day. I had an amazing.
Yeah, post-secondary is pretty. I mean, high school is pretty good, but like I said, I enjoyed Law 12. In fact, I got the top mark in the whole school, actually.
Oh,
I got like an 84% or 85 or 86% or something like that. But I have the top law mark at law school. We have grade 12 law courses. One in the first semester and second semester, and I won on the first semester and won it. But yeah, exactly. So how else is it preparing you? Like so you got Scantron sheets and all that stuff. You got to fill them out, the bubbles and all that.
Yeah,
they do that too at the Kwantlen and SFU, and they do it everywhere pretty much. And it kind of kills you a little bit, but you got to regurgitate what happens, right? So what else prepares you for grade post-secondary?
We also have, so they're mandatory. It's called career life education, just careers. What that class is supposed to be like life preparation. So we learned last year, we did how to put together a resume, how to apply your skills when applying for a job, how to make a budget, how to like work with the money that you have, how to apply to university. This year it's career capstone, and what capstone is it's like a big project that you have to put at least 40 hours of your own time into outside of school.
A lot of time. That's like a whole semester, right?
Yeah, and you need it to graduate. You have to do it, and it's something that you have to come up with yourself.
And
it's your own idea.
Or?
Like there's so many options of what you can do. Like start a business, learn an instrument, anything. Like as long as you're putting time into it and you create a plan. So what that's trying to get us to do is like build on our independence, I think. So being able to go out of school and then work on your own thing that you know you need to do well on to graduate. It's important, because once you get out of high school, it's going to be like that every day. You're going to have to work on big papers. My teacher of that class told me that once we're out of high school, university classes aren't just little worksheets every day. It's like a big paper every month. And they say, you have to put your time into it. Yeah.
If you go to Quanland or SFU, you'll get a test every 2 months, a month and a half, 2 months. And it'll be on 5 chapters, and you got to read them all, and you got to take your own notes and everything. And that's what happened. But so you got this, was it career preparatory stuff and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Or just getting into something you're interested in, or just do you talk about post-secondary much or anything? Or
that's what it's about. Like it's basically a career and life course. So this year I got a brief overview, because I've only been in school for 3 days, but basically the teacher that teaches it is he also teaches economics and entrepreneur class. And that's what he's trying to teach us about, is like, how do you take care of yourself when you are by yourself? So this year he said that we're going to learn how to make a budget off of, if we have a job right now, that job and our income from that job.
So last year, you learned this year?
We're gonna do this year. Last year it was like a budget on a fictional job, but now it's like actually what you're doing.
Okay.
And if you don't have a job, the other thing is he's gonna work towards either getting you a job or some volunteer hours that'll look good on a resume.
That's excellent. So are you gonna volunteer right away when you start going to school, or?
Yeah, I definitely want to. I don't know what I would want to do. It's just like I need to be able to fit it in with work and school as well.
I gotcha.
So,
one thing I might want to point out, that if you're going to have an unfun semester with 4 courses, maybe take 3, right?
Yeah.
Just because we want to do is you still want to have a little bit of fun and enjoy your life, right? If you're stressed out in your bedroom reading all the time, you ain't have a lot of fun. I mean, you could get your degree done quicker, but you really want to do that? Because you got to work too, right? So, and one recommendation, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here.
That's okay. No.
If you want to get some money for school, apply for bursaries and like, not student loans, but what do you call them? Scholarships. Because honestly, it's kind of difficult to find out where they are. But once you get one,
actually, my school, sorry, but what we have is a scholarship workshop. So there's 2 dates throughout the school year. The first one is coming up, and the scholarship workshop teaches you how to apply for a scholarship.
Yeah.
And then the second one is multiple universities from all over Canada come to it's like a community center near the area. They all come, and that's where you can apply. So they're all together in this one space, you can ask about the school, you can ask about their scholarships, what options they have. And instead of, having to go on a bunch of websites or travel around, they're all in one place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you've already learned how to do it before from the school.
Good for you, because they didn't really teach us to say, "Hey, try to apply for a scholarship," and then that was it, and that was the end of it. They also had this thing where we if you get on the honor roll like all year round, you get like hundreds of dollars towards taking a course first semester or whatever, the first 5 years or 3 or 4 years or whatever. So I did that. You got that or two, or you got that one?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my friend's friend, I think he ended up gathering because he went to that like basically a convention of schools. He went and he gathered almost $20,000 in scholarships from his sports and just based off his grades from that one place, which I thought was really impressive for him.
Well, aim high.
Yeah.
Apply for all of them. Obviously, you can't.
You won't get them
for
all.
Certain ones, but you can't apply for the I don't know, whatever. I don't know what there is, but you can't apply for them all. But I mean, you got to meet the certain criteria, and then you got to do a paper, and then you got to prove it or do a video or whatever you got to do. Do what you got to do. Get that money, but don't forget to have fun.
Yeah.
Seriously, a lot of the times you're gonna have a bit of an issue with blocking time. You have to make time for like going to school, studying, and then have flex time where I have time when you're gonna have fun with friends, get all your friends out on that day, and then have flex time for, okay, if I haven't studied enough this day, I'll take this flex time, or reward yourself and give yourself
more time,
enjoyable during that flex time, right? So have a little bit of that, blocking your stuff. You obviously got to go to work and stuff like that. You might have to work. Are you going to be working all weekends or what?
Yeah, like usually I work every other weekend.
Okay.
So then that way I have time for like schoolwork and to have a life as well.
Exactly. I mean, it's all about that, finding the school life balance it was really difficult for me because I just procrastinate too much, and that's a problem. See, you got to I recognize that problem, but of course I never really got into. I procrastinate everything, and
yeah, me too.
That's the worst one. But if you take bits, say you got to do a paper every day, you spend a little bit of time on it, and then at the end you get up with the paper. Right? And say you spend 2 hours, 4 hours with research on your paper, and then you go, okay, 4 hours next day, and then you're happy you're done. You go like, okay, I can go to the mall, I can go with my friends or just watch a movie or something like that. So if you do that, you'll be very successful if you're able to block in your time properly. It really helps. How else do you think that school prepares you for class? Or I mean, for
so we have a careers counselor.
Oh, okay.
But what she does is she has her own office in the school, and you can go to her and you can basically just check in and you can say like, this is what I'm looking to do after school or after high school, like my secondary. And you say, am I meeting the requirements for whatever university or whatever your job is? And then the counselor goes through your courses that you have, how many credits, what your marks are. And
so it sounds a lot like an academic advisor.
Yeah.
Like they have those at Quantum, SAP, whatnot. Academic advisors can tell you, hey, but once you start getting to like a second or third year, you go to the advisor of your particular area. At first, you just have advisors just in general, but when you get your second or third year, I think it's second or third year, they start sending you to an academic advisor in the, the arts department or wherever you're at.
Yeah, she's just more general. Since it's just at like high school level, so that's what she does. She knows about it. Like I went to go see her one time just to check in last year in grade 11. I was asking her like, my dream school is UBC, which is a challenge, but
it is. It's a publicly funded one. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
a lot of people want to get in there, but if you got the volunteer hours and all that stuff, it'll help. Yeah,
that's what I said. So I asked her. I'm like, are the courses I'm taking right now and want to take in the future, like, would that be looking good to, hope, like, have a hope of getting to UBC? And then she told me that what I was taking was perfect. I take a lot of like social studies classes, and for the degrees that I want there, she said it was perfect. She told me I was on the right track, and then she recommended some courses to take in grade 12, which I have. So I think, and it's also like, it's nice to hear somebody tell you like, yeah, you're doing good, like, don't panic, because a lot of kids my age are like all the time. So
it's just on a side note. I know that you got a mentor, obviously the academic advisor, but what I recommend to do is when you go to school, there's two things. There's two people you need. It could be the same person, but usually not all the time. Have a mentor and have a good editor. At first, when you're editing, you're going to have to end up getting an editor, but sometimes you pay them, but you can get a friend or someone who's already in school and all that. And you also get one that's a mentor, who's already in school, who you talk to about things, because they know the ins and outs, right?
Yeah, my one of my dad's like good friends is a lawyer. He went to law school in Calgary, so I've wanted to be a lawyer for like a few years now. So he's definitely someone that I can and have asked a lot of questions about future, and he really recommends Calgary or other alternatives, but
absolutely,
he's been through it and he's now doing very well for him and his family, so I trust.
So you're in contact with him, like email or?
Yeah, I see him a lot. Him and my dad are really close. So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you know what? You just got to talk to him every once in a while, just to keep things up. Don't ask what he did and stuff like that. You might even interview him, or just get him on the phone or something like that. But that's a very important thing. And like I said, an editor. Now, first, when you go into first year, just get your parents to edit it. They don't like when you get professional editors. But once you get to the second or third area in school, what I recommend you do is that you get an editor that's really good, maybe a student who's about a couple of years older than you, or somebody who's got a master's or PhD or some of that you know of, that can edit your paper and make it look good. Okay, because no matter what happens, you're going to need that mentor and you're going to need that editor. And if you edit your own papers, that's not recommended. Even Stephen King has an editor.
Yeah.
Everybody who's ever written a book, unless I don't know how they couldn't, but you got to get an editor. Very important. And just have your parents, because when you make essays at first, what I recommend you do is just make them fairly simple, but make sense, and then get your parents to edit them and say, hey, what does this mean? Because if they don't understand your paperwork, then your teacher won't like it as much. So if they understand it, then that's good. I don't know. Do they have PhDs? No.
My dad does. He's completed school.
Okay, cool. But I don't know, what did your mom complete school? Did she get a bachelor's or?
She got a degree. I forget what it was, but my dad's he has a degree in criminology, and then he furthered it to something else, but he did a lot of school after. So he finished school, like he had to stop after he got his criminology degree, and then I was born, so kind of like halted it, but then he went back to school when I was like 13, so I got to see him do a lot of that stuff. And he is very fresh in his mind, so he's been helping me.
What like I said, I recommend just getting somebody who's out of high school, maybe a parent or something like that, maybe an aunt or an uncle who may not have a degree, but they'll know when they can understand something. Because basically, if you don't know what you're talking about, it'll be apparent to a person who's just like a parent or somebody with just grade 12, right? So it's a very important thing. So is there anything else they do for prepare for post-secondary? That's pretty much it. Or I mean,
yeah.
I mean, like I said, you'll be doing pen and paper tests, pencil and paper tests. You'll be doing a lot of those. Like they still do it. Like,
yeah, they do. They do. Yeah.
Well, you can have papers too, which I don't like. I'd rather do paper and pencil papers because I'm used to it. I'm strong when it comes to that kind of stuff. And, I got a good method, but let's see here. Are they a lot of online assignments for high school or?
Yeah. So after COVID, we had, what was it? It was like about a month. I was in grade 9 at the time. We had a month where they hadn't had it, like they didn't figure anything out, and we still had a bit of time left in the school year, and it was obvious that we weren't coming back. So we got Microsoft Teams, and each class that you have is like its own team, and they assign work on there during COVID. But then once we came back to school, they realized like it's really helpful. So a lot of classes, what they'll do is they'll put, like, if you didn't go to school that day for some reason, they'll put what they did in class on the teams.
Nice. That's often what happens in the schools now at online and stuff like that. You know, they have online stuff, and sometimes they have online courses, which I don't like. I'm glad I got it because there's too much.
It's harder to like be motivated to do them, but also certain assignments, I think it's becoming a thing because they don't want to use as much paper too, but like shorter little, things that you would get one pieces of paper that they would have you fill out and hand in. Instead, they'll assign them on Teams, and you'll type it and send it directly to the teacher, and you'll get a mark back on Teams. And I guess that way we don't use as much paper, but it depends on the teacher and the class too. Like some teachers don't like Teams because it's just not what they've been using. Some teachers really enjoy it, so they use it more. And certain classes, like the shop classes, like woodwork and stuff, they don't.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was in school, people were still literally writing and printing.
Yeah, we do
essays, and like half people will do it. But now it was in that transaction stage when people are starting to print them out nicely and photocopying those black and stuff like that and all that. So
a lot of teachers prefer printed now. Like I want to say probably like 80% of teachers that I've had want you to print it instead of write it out. So
yeah, interesting. Did you apply for it in the schools yet, or how does that work? Now, I remember when I went to Kwantlen, I was already not a mature student, but I was there for a little while at BCIT, and that helped me. How do you apply for places like that? Are you already doing it, or what? Like for post-secondary?
Each school is like it's different, so you would have to research depending on where you want to apply. So they have like cutoffs, and they have like the starting time. So this is just an example. I don't actually know, but like if you're applying to the University of Victoria, you might have to start applying in October, and those might cut off in March or something. But it's something that you would have to do on your own time, unless you speak to one of the advisors at school, or you go to one of the workshops, which we have that help you with that kind of thing. Like, how do I apply for a degree or university or whatnot?
Absolutely. Interesting. So what schools have you applied to? Any schools yet, or are you very
no they're not open just yet.
Every school's different about when the opening and closing dates are?
Yeah, every school's they varied. Like they might not be too far off, but some could be really different. And some have different requirements for when you apply as well.
Interesting. So it's so different from when I started. you know, because when I started, I went to BCIT. Basically, if you go to BCIT for some of the courses, like the part-time courses, the animation courses, all I had to be as a living human being with money. You know what I mean? Like, that's all you had. That's all you do, right? Yeah. But it was just a part-time course, right? It's different. But then I went to Kwantlen and had to show them all my Surrey school district grades and stuff like that. And I got in because I got a B in English 12 and I got a C plus in English or French 12. So I got that all done. And then I went to SFU and came back. So just to let you know, with one of your courses you might take one day, you might fail a course, but don't worry about it. You know, don't worry about it. And you might not do as well as you would like to have done. Be prepared for that because it might happen. I know you got A's and B's, but it might happen, right?
Yeah, it has.
It has at high school?
Yeah, I mean, I used to be really bad at math, but last year I had a really great teacher, so I started getting better marks on my tests and quizzes in math, and now I'm a lot stronger than I was.
So we're at the basically we're at the end of the interview, so I appreciate you coming on our show, and hopefully we'll see every semester. It's been great to see your journey, but my question is there anything you'd like to add that I haven't mentioned yet?
I don't think so right now, but if I could just say, it's going to be cool for me to like be able to look back and see all the different ones and how it goes over the years. So,
and what I recommend you do is just keep all your papers, keep them under a hard drive, and protect the principal, which is your old hard drive and all that stuff, and make sure you save everything and over a different drive and all that stuff, because you want to get to look at how you accomplished being accomplished. Because when I was starting out, I didn't save too much of my stuff, but I got better as time went on. It was kind of cool, you know, looking at all my old stuff. I'm like, man, I wrote.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And all that stuff. But Kennedy, thank you very much for being on my show, and I'll see you next semester, okay?
All right, thank you. Okay, see ya. Bye. Bye.
If you like the FOF Guide videos, we got a lot more in store for you. Hit the notifications bell so that you know that we got them coming out. Hit like, hit subscribe. Always leave a comment. Whether it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down, let us know.